Good day, everybody. Hope you're having a great day. Hope it's going by for you pretty quick. Hope you had a great weekend. Man, Saturday, what a day, huh? Started out with two top 25 teams, the only matchup, A&M and Missouri. And I was like, why the hell is this game at 11 a.m. in the morning? Well, as the day went on, we saw why, because there are a lot of upsets going on through the day. Man, what an incredible day it was. We're going to go over all that in this review show. Got a few news items. Before we start, hit that subscribe button down there so you don't miss anything. With it, let's get to it. Crazy ass Saturday. Like I said, only two ranked teams were playing each other. And I saw 11 a.m. in the morning, and I was like, are you serious? Why is this game? Why isn't it prime time? Well, we found out. Six undefeated teams lost on Saturday, including four in the top 11. There are 12 unbeaten left. Two will meet next Saturday, Oregon and Ohio State. Crazy. Army and Navy, they're both 5-0 at the same time together. So that's the first time since the 40s, I believe it said. Iowa State, they're 5-0. First time since 1980. Indiana, 6-0. First time since 1967. Pitt is 5-0. First time since 1991. Couple other items here. Boise State running back Ashton Gentry, over 1,000 yards this season, and he's done that through 5 games. A lot of people talk about he could be the Heisman leader right now. Some good news. NC State quarterback Grayson McCall, he got released from the hospital. He had left the game against Wake Forest on Saturday with a hip injury, but he got checked out, and he's released now. So he is back with his team. Thank goodness for that. All right, so let's go over some review stuff here. This past week, crazy last few days. A lot of teams won that haven't been doing so good. A lot of close games too, especially on the FCS side. A lot of teams that are top tier FCS teams winning by 1 and 2 points. We'll go over all that too. All right, so go back to Thursday. Texas State got back on the winning track. They beat Troy 38-17. Texas State quarterback Jordan McLeod, 252 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Also ran for 72 yards and a touchdown. Troy, the Sun Belt champs from last year, they are 1-5. Man, Sam Houston, they're 5-1 now. They beat UTEP 41-21. Friday, Jacksonville State beat Kennesaw State 63-24. Jacksonville State running back Trey Stewart, 134 yards, 4 touchdowns, and quarterback Tyler Huff ran for 176 and 3 touchdowns in that game. Jabari Mack, 30-yard pick six for Jacksonville State. Kennesaw State, only 12 first downs and turned the ball over 4 times in that one. Harvard, they're 2-1. They beat New Hampshire 28-23. It's a close game all the way. It's actually 16-14 at halftime. But Harvard prevailed. Houston, congratulations, Houston. You're getting back in your winning ways. Beat TCU 30-19. Houston quarterback Zion Chris gets his first start. Throws for 141 and a touchdown. Ran for 71-yard touchdown on a quarterback draw. Defensive back AJ Hockey, 6 tackles and 2 interceptions. Hell of a game for him. TCU was 3 for 10 on third down, only 66 rushing yards, and turned the ball over 4 times. Actually, I don't know what happened to these two teams. They used to be good, but, I guess things change over time. UNLV lost but to Syracuse 44-41, but took it to overtime. Both quarterbacks had good games, though. Syracuse's Kyle McCord, 355 yards, 3 touchdowns. UNLV's Haji Malik Williams, 227, 3 touchdowns. Also ran for a touchdown in that one. Syracuse was 11 for 18 on third down. UNLV only 3 for 7. Syracuse also ran 45 more plays than UNLV did. UNLV, 9 penalties for 109 yards. Can't say that helped them out a bit. Oregon beat Michigan State 31-10. Really no surprise there. Michigan State just hasn't been Michigan State in quite a few years now. Um, Actually, since Mark D'Antonio left, they just haven't been up to that top tier of the Big Ten. Dylan Gabriel for Oregon, 2 touchdown passes. Spartans 2 for 11 on third down, only 53 rushing yards in that game. All right, so moving on to Saturday. Look at SMU, man. They joined the ACC. People are like, really? It's SMU? And they just seem to be beating everybody. Beat Louisville 34-27. Actually thought, even though I root for SMU because they're a Texas team, I actually thought Louisville was going to win this game, but nope. Game was tied at 27, though, at the end of the third quarter. SMU ends up winning it. Pitt, like we mentioned, they move on to 5-0, beat North Carolina 34-24. Eli Holston for Pitt, career best, 381 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, and he ran for a touchdown. We mentioned it, Pitt's first 5-0 start since 1991. North Carolina, man, they have just fallen off the map in this year. I don't know what the hell's going on there. Mac Brown may want to retire after this year. Who knows? Virginia, they're 4-1. They beat Boston College, who's been on the rise, 24-14. BC is 4-2 now, so they're having a great season. Eagles quarterback Thomas Castellanos did have a decent game. 254 yards, 2 touchdowns, but he did throw 2 interceptions, and he fumbled the ball. And Virginia is, what does it say, Sanker. He scooped and scored on that one. BC did have more turnovers and penalties in that game. Mentioned before, the only top 25 matchup was A&M versus Missouri. Texas A&M beat them down, man, 41-10. I did not think that was going to happen. This is before the game started, they were saying Weigman was a game-time decision, and I was saying if Weigman starts, I don't think they're going to win. I really don't. Shocked the hell out of me, surprised me. He threw for 276, no touchdowns though, but he did throw for a lot of yards. Running back Lavon Moss, he had the game, man. 138 rushing yards, 3 touchdowns. Daniels also had 2 rushing touchdowns. Missouri only 68 rushing yards. Just makes you wonder, as an A&M fan, just makes me wonder where we would be had they beaten Notre Dame. They moved up in the polls. I think they moved up to number 15, I saw. But still, where would they be had they beaten Notre Dame? But even though Weigman didn't throw any touchdown passes, I was still impressed with his play. He played a good game. He did not play on eggshells like he did against Notre Dame. I mean, he looked different. So, gives you hope. It really does give you hope. We mentioned Army. They're 5-0. They beat Tulsa 49-7. Their quarterback, Bryson Daly, threw 2 touchdown passes, ran for 2 touchdowns. Running back, Kenye Voda, 137 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns. Running back, Noah Short, 121 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns. 2 touchdown catches out of the backfield. We mentioned Navy, too. 5-0, beat Air Force 34-7. Largest margin of victory over Air Force since 1978. Wow. We mentioned it too last time. Army and Navy were both 5-0 at the same time, 1945. Poor UCLA. I mean, they joined Big Ten, getting that big TV money, think things are going to be okay. The Big Ten is letting them know you are in the Big Ten now. Man, Penn State beats them 27-11, moves to 5-0. Drew Aller, 237 passing yards, touchdown. Also ran for a touchdown. UCLA having a bad year. USC is not having such a good year either. We'll go over that here in a minute. But, boy, the LA schools. Washington schools or the Pacific Northwest schools are doing a lot better. Oregon's doing great. Washington's getting back up onto it. But the LA schools, man. Purdue, remember? Fired their OC Graham Harrell last week. Well, Wisconsin comes and whips them anyway, 52-6. Braden Locke for the Badgers, 359 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 of them to Trey Kekahana. Running back Talia Walker, 3 touchdowns in that one. Wisconsin defense held Purdue to 10 first downs, 1 for 11 on third down. 216 total yards, and they forced 2 turnovers. Tulane starting to look good again. They're 4-2. They beat UAB 71-20. Micah Hughes, 2 rushing touchdowns. Yule Keith Brown, 2 touchdown catches. Linebacker Chris Rogers had a 29-yard pick six. Rashawn Pleasant, 100-yard kickoff return for a touchdown. Tulane starting to turn things around. UConn, look at UConn. They might be bowl eligible in a few weeks. They are 4-2 now. Beat Temple 29-20. Jordan Wright recovered the fumble, ran back 96 yards for the winning touchdown for the Huskies. In the oldest rivalry in the South, Georgia beat Auburn 31-13. Carson Beck, 240 passing yards, 2 touchdowns. Trevor Etienne, 2 rushing touchdowns. These two teams are actually pretty close. And when I look back through all the categories, rushing yards, third down, penalties, and all that, they're actually pretty close in all those categories. But Georgia still came out on top. Appalachian State, I don't know what's going on with you. You're no longer the giant killer, it seems. 2-3 now. Lost to Marshall, 52-37. Marshall quarterback Braylon Braxton threw for 129, 3 touchdowns, ran for 140 and 2 touchdowns. Hell of a game for him. As good as South Carolina has played lately, I mean, they lost to LSU, but they gave them a hell of a fight. I really thought they were going to beat Ole Miss. So I started watching that game, and it started going back the other direction. I was like, what the hell is going on here? I was wrong about that one. Rebels win that one 27-3. I guess they were pissed losing to Kentucky. Couple of questionable play calls, though, in this game by South Carolina. Fake punt on the 4th and 1 was stuffed by Rebel linebacker Chris Paul. Rebels scored a touchdown 5 plays later. Next series, USC puts 2 of their quarterbacks into formation. One of them, Robbie Ashford, fumbled. Ole Miss scored off of that one. Pegs had 2 rushing touchdowns for Ole Miss. Another game where both teams afterwards were pretty even in the categories. You figured, you look at those categories, you figure, well, why didn't South Carolina score more? I mean, just one of those crazy ass things. Toledo 4-1 beat Miami of Ohio 30-20. Toledo kicker Kunan, 47-yarder, 48-yarder, 21-yard field goal in that game. Ohio State all over Iowa. Although they started off slow, they ended up winning 35-7. Was like that all the way till halftime. Then they woke up. Will Howard, 209 passing yards, 4 touchdowns. Emeka Ibuka, 3 touchdown catches. Nice game for him. Iowa, only 10 first downs, 225 total yards. Both teams only had 1 penalty each, though. So the coaches got to be happy about that. Buckeye defense, 4 sacks in this game, forced 3 turnovers. Indiana, bowl eligible already. Looks like they got the right man for the job. 6-0, beat Northwestern 41-24. Curtis, how do you say his name? Rourke? Anyway, their quarterback, 380 yards, 3 touchdown passes. Northwestern offense did look good, but their defense just could not stop Indiana. So, had they been better, they may have won. Who knows? They got some work to do on defense. Oklahoma State, they're continuing their annual meltdown. Just happens this year. It's in the middle of the season instead of the first or the last. It's right in the middle this year. So, who knows? Maybe they'll turn things around and get to a bowl. Lost to West Virginia 38-14. Ollie Gordon, 50 rushing yards in this game. Nebraska 5-1 beat a damn good Rutgers team. Gave them their first loss. They beat them 14-7. Thank God for the Husker defense because their quarterback, Dylan Raiola, struggled. 134 passing yards, no touchdowns, threw an interception. So the Black Shirts probably say won that game for him. All right, so like I said, my plan was to watch the afternoon Ole Miss and South Carolina. I was like, this is going to be a good game. South Carolina's a great team. Ole Miss stumbled last week. You know, they're going to be pissed. Should be a really good game. That game went south real quick. I was like, well, what do I watch now? So I switched over to Vanderbilt in Alabama. I said, oh, look at this. Vanderbilt's going to make it interesting. And I'm so glad I did. What a game. First quarter and a half, Vandy just dominated Alabama. Led 23-7 at one point. Bama being Bama, though, they started coming back, but didn't fully take over the game. They could never score more than Vandy. Great game, though. It's kind of back and forth, even though Vandy stayed on top of them. Diego Pavia, what a player. 252 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, ran for 56. He made amazing throws when needed. A lot of those when they needed yardage to pick up first down, even further than they needed to get. Totally incredible. If I remember right, wasn't it 4th and 1 when he threw a touchdown pass? The 4th and 1, I think that was it. Cedric Alexander, 2 rushing TDs. Jalen Milroe, he had a pretty good game. 312 passing yards, touchdown, ran for a touchdown, did throw a pick. Jam Miller, 2 rushing touchdowns. Vandy had the ball for 41 minutes and 33 seconds in this game. Alabama only had the ball for 17 minutes and 52 seconds. Amazing. That's just amazing ball control. Vandy 12 for 18 on 3rd down. Bama was only 4 for 6. Vanderbilt also ran 30 more plays in this game than Alabama. Great win for Vanderbilt. I saw some stats. I forget what they were, but I think it's been 60 games since they beat a top 5 opponent or something like that, something crazy. Good win for them. Clark Lea's got this program going in the right direction. I really believe they should be undefeated, but those 2 losses, they just shot themselves in the foot, made all kinds of mistakes. That's the reason why they're not undefeated, because they're a great football team. I can't wait to see how they do the rest of the season. On the Alabama side, hey, if you're an Alabama fan, just remember, Nick Saban's first year lost 6 games, one of them to Louisiana Monroe. So don't sweat it. Kalen DeBoer is a great coach. I'm still pissed he left Washington because he's that good of a coach. But, hey, that's the way it goes sometimes. That's the way it goes. Congratulations to Vandy. I did hear the fire department got the goalposts out of the Cumberland River. So those should be back on their way to the stadium, getting reinstalled now as we speak. So anyway, Oregon State, they're 4-1. They beat Colorado State 39-31 in 2 overtimes. Beaver quarterback Giovanni McCoy, 147 passing yards, no touchdowns, but ran for 153 and 3 touchdowns. Damn. Coastal Carolina, they're 4-1. They beat Old Dominion 45-37. Ethan Vasco, 367 passing yards, 3 touchdowns for Coastal Carolina. Brandon Bennett, 2 rushing touchdowns. Old Dominion quarterback Colton Joseph, he had a good game too. 262 passing yards and 3 touchdowns on that one. Poor Florida State. What these guys got to do? They win a game. Looks like they might be turning things around and, well, lose to Clemson 29-13. Cade Klubnik, 235 passing yards, 2 touchdown passes. That is 14 touchdown passes in 5 games for the guy. So he's a damn good quarterback. Knowles, 250 total yards, 75 yards of penalties in this game. Kicker Nolan Hauser for Clemson, 17 points. Nice. Let's see. 1, 7, minus them. That would have been, wow. Had he not made 11 points, they may have lost. Wow. Good for him. UL Monroe. We just talked about him beating Alabama Nick Saban's first year there. Gave James Madison their first loss, 21-19. But get this. Louisiana Monroe, less first downs, less total yards, more penalties, more turnovers, and still beat James Madison. Nice win for them. Very, very nice win for them. Louisiana, they're 4-1. They beat Southern Miss 23-13. Southern Miss only 18 minutes and 25 seconds with the ball in this game. 8 first downs, 1 for 5 on 3rd down, 183 total yards. That's not going to win you a game. We talked about Boise State's running back, Ashton Gentry. They are 4-1 now. Beat Utah State 62-30. Remember, Utah State used to be a decent football team. A couple of years ago, they were a really good football team. Boise offense, they're incredible. Madu Madsen, 256 passing yards, 3 touchdowns. We just talked about Ashton Gentry a little while ago. Continues his incredible season. 186 rushing yards, 3 touchdowns in this game. Dylan Riley, 96-yard kickoff return for a touchdown. Moving on. Crazy game last night. Good game. Arkansas gave Tennessee their first loss. Gave them a hell of a game, too. They win 19-14. Very defensive game. 3-0 at the half. Razorbacks came back from being down 14-3 in the third quarter. It's their first home win over top 5 opponents since 1999 against anybody? Number 3 Tennessee back then. Neither quarterback threw a touchdown pass. Running back Dylan Sampson had a good night for Tennessee, though. 138 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns. Arkansas defense, 4 sacks, held Tennessee to just 16 first downs. Arkansas had 22. 99 less total yards and 9 less plays than Tennessee. Still won the game. Great win for them and Sam Pittman. Iowa State 5-0. They beat Baylor 43-21. Baylor actually led this game twice and let it get away from them. Cyclone quarterback Rocco Bach, 277 yards, 2 touchdowns. Jalen Jackson, 107 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns. Another one of those games where afterwards you go through the categories, rushing yards and all. They're pretty close in all those categories. Iowa State still came out on top. Dave Aranda is one of those you wonder how much longer is he going to make it. Baylor does have a good team. Just a lot of these games they can't finish. This one here, they were leading twice and they ended up losing. So I don't know how much longer this guy's going to last. But anyway, San Jose State, they're 4-1. They beat Nevada 35-31. Both teams scored the same amount of points in the first quarter, second, third quarter. And fourth quarter came along. San Jose State, they scored a touchdown. Nevada could only muster up a field goal and ended up losing. Talked about UCLA. Welcome to the Big Ten. Minnesota beats USC. Man, that was incredible for them. 24-17. Max Bromsberg for the Gophers. 169 passing yards and a 1-yard rushing TD on 4th and goal with 56 seconds left in the game. It was his 3rd rushing touchdown of the game, so he had a hell of a game. Last time Minnesota beat USC, 1955. USC was better on 3rd down, but they had more turnovers in that game. So great win for Minnesota. They really needed a big win, and they got it Saturday night. Washington beats Michigan 27-17. Wasn't easy, though. Rodgers, 271 yards, 2 touchdowns. Huskies, more first downs, better on 3rd down, more total yards, less penalties, and less turnovers than Michigan. Michigan did turn the ball over twice in the 4th quarter. They actually had the lead there for a little while, too, but Washington came back, won that game. Florida beat Central Florida 24-13. I actually thought Central Florida would beat the Gators. Nope. Gator defense held the Knights to just 108 rushing yards and had 5 sacks in this game. Georgia Tech gave Duke their first loss of the season, won 24-14. Haynes King, 167 passing yards, 2 touchdowns. Duke had the ball 20 minutes, 33 minutes, 14 first downs, 3 for 11 on 3rd down, 279 total yards, but 29 less plays than Georgia Tech. Arizona State, boy, they have turned things around. Beat Kansas 35-31. They are 4-1 now. Sam Levitt, 4 touchdown passes against Kansas, including a 3-yard TD strike to Jordan Tyson with 16 seconds left in the game. Like I said, nice turnaround for Arizona State from where they've been the last few years. But Kansas, man, what is going on with Kansas? They've had a good team the last few years, and this year they're just sinking down. Okay, I have said the last few weeks, California is a much improved team. They really are. And they proved it, losing to Miami by just 1 point. Gave Miami a hell of a game. Cal actually lost this game in the 4th quarter. They got outscored 21-3. Cam Ward led 4 straight touchdown drives to end this game. It was the Hurricanes' biggest comeback since rallying from 28 down in 1999 to Boston College. Cal only had 12 first downs, was 2 for 10 on 3rd down. Miami converted 3 times on 4th down in this game, had 275 more total yards. They also had 110 yards in penalties. But Cal, man, led this game, kept racking on the points. You're like, wow, we have another upset. Man, that fourth quarter came on. I guess they just added gas or something. But Cal's a good team. They're going to win a lot more games. They're probably going to go to a good bowl game. Just keep an eye on them. Texas Tech, 5-1, beat Arizona 28-22. Arizona's like 3-2 now, which is crazy because they've been a good team. Running back, Tajah Brooks for the Red Raiders, 128 yards, 3 touchdowns. Nice game for him. Texas Tech, less time of possession in this game, less first downs, worse on third down, less plays, less total yards, more penalties, and still won the game. That must be the theme for this. That's been the theme for the last weekend. You suck in all the categories, but you still win the game because it happened. It really, really happened a lot. All right, so we're done with that. Let's go to FCS. Go over a few of these big games. Davidson, they are 4-1 now. Beat Marist 42-19. Davidson's Mary Adams, 164 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns. Drake, they are 3-1. Beat Valpasario 27-3. Butler, they are 5-0. Beat Morehead State 40-6. Butler quarterback Reagan Andrew, 2 touchdown passes, and he also ran for 2 touchdowns. Delaware, they are 5-0. Beat Monmouth 42-35. Zach Marker, their quarterback, 3 touchdown passes. He also ran for a touchdown. Marcus Yarns ran for a TD and caught an 86-yard touchdown pass for Delaware. Dartmouth, they're 3-0. Beat Penn 20-17. Jackson Proctor, 232 passing yards, 2 touchdowns for Dartmouth. Tennessee State, they are 4-2. They beat Lindenwood 24-20. Rhode Island, they're 4-1. They beat Hampton 46-44 in 2 overtimes. Richmond, 4-2. Beat North Carolina A&T 20-17. A lot of close games in these FCS this past weekend. Southeast Missouri State is 5-1. They beat Eastern Illinois 38-27. Their quarterback, Paxton De La Ront, 364 passing yards, 3 touchdowns. South Dakota, Coyotes, not Jackrabbits, Coyotes, 4-1, beat Murray State 59-0. Travis Stice ran for 2 touchdowns, and Charles Pierre Jr., he had 3 touchdowns also. Montana, who's 4-2 now because they lost to Weber State 55-48 in overtime. Weber State quarterback Richie Munoz threw 6 touchdown passes, including the overtime game winner in this one. Villanova, they're 5-1. They beat Stony Brook 42-24. Villanova freshman David Ott set a Villanova freshman record with 183 rushing yards and 4 touchdowns. Nice. North Dakota State Bison, they are 5-1. Beat their rival North Dakota, who's 4-2. 41-17. Cam Miller, 2 touchdown passes and also ran for a touchdown. North Carolina Central, 4-2. They beat Campbell 45-14. Darrell Taylor, 68-yard punt return for a touchdown in that one. UC Davis, they are 5-1. Beat Portland State 27-26. UC Davis won on a 94-yard final drive that ended with a touchdown pass. Montana State, they're 6-0. They beat Northern Colorado 55-17. Tommy Malott, 4 touchdown passes for the Bobcats. Abilene Christian beat Central Arkansas 41-34. Both of them are 4-2 now. Jackson State, they're 4-2, beat Alabama A&M 45-38. Jackson State led this game at halftime by 4 touchdowns. South Dakota State, Jackrabbits, 4-1. They beat Northern Iowa 41-3. Noah Thompson, 49-yard punt return for a touchdown. Idaho, they're 4-2. They beat Northern Arizona 23-17. 2-3 Towson, little 2-3 Towson beat 4-2 William & Mary 42-27. Towson's Branson Peters, 78-yard fumble return, scoop and score. Illinois State 4-2. They beat Southern Illinois 45-10. Tarleton State, they are 5-1 now. They beat Southern Utah 38-37. A lot of talk in the media about Tarleton State jumping to FBS. So there you go. All right, a couple more things here. We're at this time of year. So half the country is at halfway point. The other half of the country will be at halfway point after next Saturday. So we're at that time of the year when we get early weekday games that starts this week. Tuesday, Florida International versus Liberty, 6 p.m., CBS Sports Network. Wednesday, New Mexico State versus Jacksonville State, 6:30 on ESPN2. So these early week games are starting now, like they do every year as we get in October. We'll be back on Thursday to preview what's coming that night, Friday night, Saturday. A crap load of games on Friday night. Some pretty good matchups. We'll go over those. And we'll also go over everything that's going down next weekend. Until then, stay busy. The week will go by fast. Hey, you got college football on Tuesday and Wednesday night to help you get to next weekend. So, I know they're not marquee games, but hey, something to help get you through to next weekend. Anyway, stay safe. We will see you next time.